Hello and welcome to the second game, but possibly not in the right order, of this best of three set between Ewoewo and Moses. In this game, we have Ewoewo, who we just saw playing as the Hausa, playing the other African civ in the game, Ethiopia, in the colour green, and they are up against Moses with Malta in the pink. Let's get started. The map for this game is Minas Gerais, and GLHF there from both sides. On this map, you have a very, very safe trade post right in your base, really close to home. And you have a small tin mine with only 1,500 gold in it. You have a second small tin mine, an uncomfortably far distance from home, and then it's all the way out to the other side of the map where there are these big gold mines. So it might seem like all the action in this game is going to be down this column on the left side of the map. And if it's a short game and the players play it very aggressively, that will probably be true. But if this game goes long, you're going to start to see players needing to make a claim, make contests for the territory all over this map. We see Ethiopia opening up. They have sold some cattle. I say that. They must do. They must start with more than 2 cattle. Maybe they've eaten it. And they have built a granary, which is going to start herding in their herdables, and they're building a hut, the African version of the house. And they are gathering food to age up in a fairly standard way. The deck selection is in. It's just called deck, so we're not getting any information from the name, and the first card is Trinity, 2 villagers and 1 Aban. The Aban, the healer who can also gather gold. A very standard opening for Ethiopia. Let's hop over to Moses, who is playing as Malta. Now, Malta, of course, all sorts of ways you can start, but it looks like we're just seeing food getting gathered at the moment, so pretty standard stuff, and I'm pretty sure that was just 3 settlers that came in. Although we do see a market down for Malta. Nice. So, market and 50 gold in the bank suggests to me that they've already bought hunting dogs. And you can probably check the gather rate. Yeah, look at those villagers getting 0.92 per second. So, getting in hunting dogs to improve their food gathering, and I'm sure I'll see it in the deck. Wigner Court Construction is, of course, loaded up, could be coming in early in Age 2 to boost those gather rates even further. That's how Malta like it. Grandmaster, they're picking up 80 coin from fairly close to Ewoewo's base, so a little bit of a cheeky pickup there. The explorer for Ethiopia is nowhere near home. Let's just check. Ewoewo has done a great job actually of exploring the whole map, whereas Moses, well, they've identified the most important things. They've identified their opponent's location and hunts, and it's now just checking out the trade routes, but hasn't got the advantage of that explorer speed to go and check out the far end of the map. We see Malta aging up with the governor, so going to be getting that 200 coin and the tower in once they complete their age up. And we're seeing Ewoewo age up with Habesha. I'm sorry, I don't know my African age ups. I don't know what that's going to unlock for them. Interesting to note, we've got the mountain monasteries. The mountain monasteries were on their default 25% influence, been toggled over to 100% coin now, which I think is more standard for Age 2 Ethiopia. So using that mountain monastery and the Aben to gather lots of gold in transition here. So we go up to H2, of course. It's still only 1500 coin, no matter, you can put a mountain monastery on it, but unless you've got that card that makes them have more coin, it's still only 1500, so that's not going to last as long as you might want it to. It'll be interesting to see Ethiopia's next move, we'll keep an eye out for that. Meanwhile, down in Malta's base, looks like German tongue has come in because we're seeing those settler wagons and the commandery is down on the map. So getting German tongue in transition. Fairly standard play there from Malta, and we're seeing sentinels. These are the lovely strong musketeer from Malta. They cost 100 resources total, but 2 population. They're a bit beefier than a normal one, but not quite the full-on double power of the Mexican soldados. And also training a settler wagon to boost their economy further, although not training regular villagers at the moment. And indeed is briefly housed as they send in Wigner Court. So perhaps a little bit of a miss macro there, or maybe it was deliberate, but not the smoothest start to H2 there for Malta. Meanwhile, over in Ethiopia's side of the base, we found out what they're doing. They're going straight to Age 3. This is a naked FF. They were able to get the gold they need from, looks like just from the Mountain Monastery, because there's no 700 gold there. So they were able to get the gold they need from the Mountain Monastery. The only card they've sent in Age 2 is the Palace Wagon that comes with 300 influence. That's going to be probably helping them out defensively, I'm guessing, with this naked FF. Yeah, it's going down right in the base. There's 300 influence on the floor. They'll need to gather that up at some point. They've picked up a scout as well, I think from a treasure. And have just got that scout there. Let's see. Let's just check what that scout's doing. Just giving them line of sight. Not quite near the Maltese outpost, so they don't really see what's going on in the base. They can watch out. Keep an eye on this hunt. Most importantly, is going to give them that extra 10 seconds or so of early warning the first time that Malta starts sending units their way. In terms of military, the war camp is down, and we've got Shotel warriors, the shock infantry for the African civs coming out. Guys cost pretty much equal food and gold. And they are a nice fast shock infantry unit. However, they're not going to do amazingly well if there's a really early fight here against sentinels. Get a little multiplier against shock infantry. And of course, these sentinels get the Maltese buff, as represented by those lovely little crosses there, for being close to, is it any building? Outpost, especially fortifications, so the outpost and the commandery of Malta. This Maltese economy now looking really nice with Wigner Court in, all of those settler wagons in. It's only 25 villagers, but remember that's really 30 before Wigner Court buffing, and Wigner Court is buffing pretty much all of them, so 30 going to be gathering like 39. That's a really nice boost. They've also got the market down. I haven't checked which market text they've got in. Got the market down, and that's going to be helping them out too. Looks like the second card they're sending in at Age 2 is also 700 coins, so quite possibly going for a slightly delayed FF here as well. Just 2 hussars coming out of the commandery. That's interesting, and they're heading backwards. I wonder if they were going to go off and sort of do a patrol around the map or something. Just 2 hussars, just 10 sentinels. It would be interesting if Ewoewo goes for a really big timing push here with their Fortress Age advantage, then Malta could potentially be in a bit of trouble. As we see a force coming down now for Ewoewo, we'll just check. They have explored the map, so they know where other hunts are. It's not obvious which hunts Malta are taking, though, as you look through the fog of war here. In particular, I think the answer is that they're only taking this one in the back of the base here. And that's going to be quite hard to do an effective raid on. We saw how effective Ewo's raiding was in the other game. There's also a number of javelin riders, and then at the back of the force, we've got these dervish who are ranged infantry, light infantry, so skirmisher type units. They're knife throwing, and they have this peculiar ranged melee damage attack. Also 2 Abans in the back of the Ethiopian army. They're going to be providing fast healing for the army between skirmishes and even during skirmishes. Interestingly, something made Ewoewo turn back. That army, perhaps they saw the fortifications, but that army has stopped now. It's just waiting around. Oh, it's waiting around for 2 falconets. So it's really interesting. I think it's the I think it was 500 influence for the tech to unlock falconets, and then another 500 influence per falconet. So 1500 influence put into these falconets. That's probably the 1000 influence ship mirrors. I just noticed. Oh no, it's because of population. I was going to say, looks like Ewo sent about 6 cards already in Age 3. Got those falconets. Those are going to be really scary. Because Malta will not have been expecting Ethiopia to come with falconets. The Sebastopol mortar, sure, but falconets? Malta deciding to respond with a little bit of a counter raid here, sending those hussars up. A little bit blind because Malta hasn't got that much of an idea of what's going on in the base. Oh, and the hussars. I wonder how deliberate that was. The hussars being caught out excellently by those Jav riders, although they made it through thanks to their superior order HP, and they're going to be trying to get the kill. Got the kill on both falconets. You've got to say 5 hussars for those 2 falconets. Not bad business at all from Malta's perspective. Although that does represent a significant amount of their army. I'm kind of... Minutemen are out. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see a little bit more of a reaction from Malta. The fixed gun is out. Are we going to get to see the fixed gun used to try and defend the base? We're not at the moment because Ewoewo's gone home, healing up their units. What's the play here? What's the next move? You have invested, of course, in unlocking those falconets, so you could potentially go again. Coming up on 500 influence. Don't think there's a repeat card, so it would be 700 shipped influence, or gathering it more slowly from the mountain monastery. So perhaps not so easy to get hold of. But there's 1 falconet queued up. I think it will just be 1. I don't think there'll be enough influence in to upgrade it to 2 before that batch is finished. We've also got 8 livestock coming in. Got 4 of these Ormo warriors. Kind of a debated unit, these Ormo warriors, in terms of quite how good they are. They've got the very fast attack like the Ottoman Delis. Their numbers aren't that amazing compared to their cost, really, I don't think. So this is it. Round 2 for Ewoewo coming in, sending the Ormo warriors out alone a little bit. They're going to find some villagers. They're going to get 1 villager, but they're not really purpose-built raiding units. Now they're wandering over here to try and deal with the back part of the Maltese army, which is a lot of light infantry, so they would do well, but they're kind of unsupported by the rest of the force. Ewoewo is suffering a bit, I think, here for separating out their forces. Was perhaps scared off by the fixed gun, which is very intimidating. It got a shot into the middle of those forces. Damage was mostly superficial when you consider those Abans are going to be able to heal it up, but it's a case of Ewoewo marching their army home once again. That was the second time, and you know, kind of losing the momentum here, losing the advantage they might have had from getting up to Fortress first, getting those Falconets out, playing a more balanced FF versus Moses, who has gone for a more kind of greedy, investing, eco-focused FF. If we check on the village account, it's 33 Ethiopia versus 37 for Malta, and 5 of those are settler wagons, so it's actually 42. And they're benefiting from Wignacourt pretty much everywhere they're gathering, so you add another 30% onto that, you get something like 54, 55. So Malta's economy really turning into a bit of a powerhouse here, and they're spending those resources on fire throwers, veteran fire throwers, these kind of grenade-y, siege damage dealing skirmishers. There's a few militiamen still mixed into the army there. We absolutely love to see that. And of course, crossbowmen, veteran crossbowmen. What else would you expect from Malta? As well as a good number of more hussar. So it's a little bit of a miscellaneous army, a little bit of a mixed force. Not sure quite how amazing it's going to be. Malta also deciding that it's safe to disassemble this fixed gun. So going to be getting the resources back for that. Perhaps the opportunity to place it again. But this is interesting because, just as I mentioned at the very beginning, Ewoewo is going to make a play for the gold zone here at the back half of the map. And this could turn into a really interesting situation for Malta here, because they're on this tin mine. It's their third mine. They've already used up the one right in the base and the one a little bit away from the base. When they finish with that one, and they will finish with it because they're buying these gold-heavy hussars and these gold-heavy fire throwers and this gold-heavy fixed gun. When they finish gathering that one, they're going to have nowhere to go in terms of gold mines. They're going to have to be throwing up estates, which is going to take absolutely ages, doesn't really get them anything, or they're going to have to start fighting over this area. Now, Ewoewo, as well as throwing up walls here, has also got 2 town centres. Let's just check whether those 2 town centres... So they're not producing villagers. Neither is the hometown centre. That's a little bit of a missed opportunity, I think, because especially you've got the population, you've got the food income to sustain it long term as well. Yeah, we got some villagers queued up now. Yeah, we got a lot queued up now. But if these town centres were all popping out, 3 villagers, 1 from each town centre every 25 seconds, for the next 3 or 4 minutes, that would be a real equalizer in terms of the economy. When you multiply that by the fact that you've got access to all these gold mines and you've denied that from your opponent, you can really, really start to match them just in terms of the economy, never mind taking advantage of any of your civ's unique abilities like the influence, like the cattle market, like your special unit compositions. That puts you in a really good position as Ethiopia. However, it's not going to pay off for quite a while, and Malta are having a bit of a power spike here. They've built up off the back of that economy that's been paying out very fast for the last 5 or 6 minutes. They built up a lot of hussars, 14 order hussars. They don't say veteran, but they've got more HP. Oh no, it's just the Malta HP bleed, isn't it? Another 14 fire throwers. They're going to be giving them a lot of siege capability and anti-infantry capability. And there's a little bit of a question here for Ewoewo about how well they can survive this push. The hussars are kind of breaking through here. The javelin riders do well against the hussars, but the javelin riders aren't that strong. And they were kind of only equal numbers. Javelin riders also aren't going to do great against the fire throwers, aren't going to do great against the crossbows. Crucially, the Javelin Riders don't really provide an effective wall, so these Hussars are able to break through, get back into the Neftenia, the Ethiopian skirmishers, get back onto that Falconet, stop it firing into this infantry mass. We've also got some armoured pistoliers here, really, really beefy mercenary units. To ship those, looks like they did, yes. So a really, really nice force here. The Maltese army, I accused it of being miscellaneous, and it is a little bit miscellaneous, but it's got the numbers and it's got some really, really powerful units in there in the mix to do the damage. And frankly, this is a wipe. I think Ethiopia are in big trouble. They've obviously got 2 more town centres and got a big old base over on the right-hand side of the map. But what have they got to deal with this army? They've got no units. How are they going to get those units? They're going to lose this war camp. They're going to use the other one. Anything they train out of here is not going to be able to build up an effective mass. Yes, they can try again. I think they've still got quite a lot of villagers. 38 villagers plays 43. So villager count is not over, but look at the score. There's a big, big gap. It was only about 2,000, 3,000 before this fight. That was the Maltese power spike. Malta is now finding out at long last about these 2 town centres and about everything that's going on down here. Look, Ethiopian villagers getting killed, while at the same time, just across less than a screen width away, the Maltese and Ethiopian villagers just work shoulder to shoulder on this gold mine. Malta doesn't quite know the full extent of what's going on here on the right-hand side of the map, but it doesn't really matter. They're going to go in there. They're going to find out about it, as we've got 1, 2, 3 palaces, 4 palaces going down. I don't think it matters that much. These Maltese units, there's not even any artillery in there for you to, for Ethiopia to kind of swipe out and nullify. It's all these strong siege units, the fire throwers, and strong anti-infantry units, the armoured pistoliers, and the hussars. Button is flashing for Moses. They have the resources to go up to industrial, and there it is coming in now. They're starting to get to work on the Ethiopian second base on the right hand side of the map here. Even these palaces aren't going to be up in time. I didn't anticipate that. That really slow construction of the palaces. Really fast attack from the Maltese army here. There are a couple of falconets in the back, backed up by a couple of javelin riders, but it is nowhere near enough. They are just going to get tanked by these infantry before the Huss come in and clean it up, and that's the GG. So Ewoewo looks like a bit of an African fan, has played both of the African civs in these first 2 games, and is 1W, 1L as we go. And that means this set is going to go to a decider, a game 3, so watch out for that in just a second. In terms of this game, I really like the imagination from Ewoewo. They were a bit unfortunate, I think, with the timing of this fixed gun. They did a really nice naked FF. I was really impressed by how they were able to get the Fortress Age in so quickly without sending 700 gold. So just using that palace for defense and just using that mountain monastery to get the gold that they needed in for Fortress Age. I felt like they had some opportunities to do some damage in the early parts of Fortress Age. Unfortunately, all the villagers for Malta were hiding at the back of the base, but maybe they could have probed a little bit more. Maybe they could have gone around the sides and picked off a building or 2. Maybe got stuck in on that force of sentinels who weren't really capable of defeating Ewoewo's forces. They did have to worry about the fixed gun in the end, and I think the fixed gun was really what saved Malta in that middle game. Ewoewo was right to run away from that, and in the end was right to run away overall. I like the imagination of expanding out to the right hand side. Maybe a little bit too greedy. I'm not sure 2 town centres is quite justified. maybe needed to invest a little bit more in looking after their military and looking after things at home, because Malta were able to get that big economic power spike through sort of 10 to 15 minutes. Let's have a look at their all resources. I think that'll see. Look at that gap open up. You can see between 10 and 15 minutes they go from pretty much square on resources to a massive 6,000 resource difference. And you know, that's where the game was decided, I think. I liked the idea from Ewoewo of expanding out using the map. I thought that was really nice, but I think went a bit too hard on the investment. Ironically, up against a very greedy opening from Malta, a little bit too greedy from Ethiopia in that mid game. So anyway, that's game 2. That's GG's. I'll see you very soon for our decider in this best of 3.